was burning. The clouds red with twisted fire. Lightning moving across them. And they descended upon everything. Like a furious battle between God and Satan, good and evil. Like a fire vortex.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another night of Rocket League action here in SGL. This is the only Mazar, and we have a banger of a matchup ready to go in the Rebellion versus Timbers Army. Now, I am fortunately not alone. With me, I actually do have a co-commentator for tonight. So, why don't you introduce yourself and your special situation?
Yeah, what's going on, Maz? It's Luis here. We're looking forward to a great matchup tonight between Timbers Army and the Rebellion, and yeah, a little bit of a unique situation going on. I'm currently driving from the St. Petersburg, Tampa Bay area to Atlanta, Georgia. There's a big hurricane that everybody knows about, and yeah, we're getting out of there, and I'm really happy to be here tonight, Maz. And looking forward to the game.
And as always, Luis, I really appreciate your contributions here, but this time you stepped up hugely. For those of you who are watching right now, or for those of you who will catch the VOD later, make sure to show your love to Luis, because this dude is literally driving away from a hurricane. I mean, he's not literally driving the car right now, of course. That would be crazier. Nah, but, he's basically watching my Discord stream to make sure that he's able to catch up and see what's up. And he's willing to commentate at the situation, so, you know, it's a huge step up, a huge contribution, and we forever appreciate that. And I hope you guys in chat and you guys watching the VOD can show that appreciation as well. So for me personally right now, thank you, Luis, for real. And if I
Yeah,
can make up,
yeah, yeah, absolutely, Maz. And again, I'm always willing to help out in any way I can. So yeah, just if there's any lag, bear with us. Like Maz said, I'm literally in a car. My sister is driving. We have the dog in the back, going through rural Georgia. So if there's any lag, I apologize. And if there's any background noise, that is Georgia highways. So yeah, appreciate you being so nice, and yeah, looking forward to what's going to be a really good game against two really good teams.
oh, absolutely. And before we really take a deep dive into this, let's take a quick look at the league table, because I think this will give you a good idea of how good this matchup will be. So as you can see here in the league table, folks, and those of you watching the VOD, the Rebellion and Timbers Army are literally right next to each other. Now, the Timbers Army had a bit of a rough start, but recently they've been racking up the good results. They have 2 wins in 5. They have 11 points, 2 behind the Rebellion, although they have played one more match. Luis, given what we're seeing from the Timbers Army nowadays, I feel like this is a much closer match than it seems, doesn't it?
Yeah, TA had a really rough start to the season. It's no secret, but they bounced back in their last series last week. And for them, they're a team that I had penciled in as a playoff team. So having that slow start was not what I expected. But yeah, they turned it around last week. And then kind of the same thing with the Rebellion. They had a rough start in week 1, but man, they are on a roll, and they're one of the hottest teams in SGL right now.
And speaking of a rough start, I mean, let's take a look at the Rebellion's first few fixtures. Week 1, Emerald City RC, the finalist last season in the SGL Cup. And I believe they finished second as well. No, they finished third, I think. But definitely in the top 3 for sure. Week 2, they faced KC Cauldron. And they were both the SGL Cup and SGL League winners. Week 3, they had to take a bye week. And then week 4, they got their first relatively more straightforward matchup against Los Verdes. But then again, Los Verdes had a good start themselves. So, despite their rough start in week 1, they're able to bounce back, have a couple of upsets along the way against KC Cauldron and Black Army. And honestly, they're on a really good roll. Probably the most informed team right now in SGL. So for Timbers Army here, is it a good time for them to face the Rebellion, or do you think they could have faced them at a better time?
Listen, I don't think there's any good time to play the Rebellion for any team right now. So if there's going to be a time, might as well do it with games in hand. In terms of at least you have those latter weeks of the season. So yeah, I don't know. I think for both of these teams, they're kind of those teams on your schedule that you never want to play, but you have to play. And yeah, here we are.
That's good to know, and it's really important to mention that there's no fluke with the Rebellion's performances. They do look that good. As for Timbers Army, they've had a rough start despite the quality they have in the team, but they are starting to get better, and they're now in the playoff spots above Los Verdes. So for them, I think they're hitting a good patch of form at the right time, and I would not be surprised if this goes to 5 games, Luis.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with a 3-1 to the Rebellion. I wouldn't be surprised, like you said, if it goes 5 games. The Rebellion are the most organized team in the league. They have a certain play style that is very hard to play against. They practice. They do a really good job. For me, they're the most underrated team in the league right now. So I'm going to go with a 3-1 to the Rebellion. But again, if it goes 5, I would not be surprised.
Yeah, and I'm expecting that as well. Honestly, that would be my prediction too. Speaking of predictions, we will have channel points going in a bit. But before we dive into the match for kickoff, I do want to highlight the top of the table because you have locals in first place. But notice they got their first loss of the season, and then you have El Matador in second place now. And folks, we're going to be recapping the week's fixtures real quick. But one thing I want to highlight is the fixture at the top. El Matador handed the locals their first loss of this season with a 3-1 win. Luis, you played in that match. How'd that go? I mean, and how do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, obviously coming into this week, the locals were undefeated. We really thought that we could, hand them that first loss, and we ended up doing that. We took full advantage of the mid-season transfer window. I put out a tweet and one post in the SC Dallas Discord, and I had a plethora of responses of SC Dallas fans that were super interested. And so we got them signed up, and it's no secret that they are a massive addition to Caesar and I in terms of the quality. The coup has been tremendous for us, but he would tell you that these guys are a little bit of a step up, and they kind of allow me and Caesar to do what we do best. Yeah, that locals game was the fastest pace of play that I've ever played in an SGL game. And yeah, it was a tremendous game. The locals for me are still right there at the top of the league. So happy with that performance. I'm really happy to see the influx in new FC Dallas players coming to the SGL.
And we hope to see more people get involved because honestly, SGL's been a great way for new supporters to get into the supporters scenes for their respective groups and clubs, and it also allows people who are unable to get involved, like the locals, to fill that void and to keep up with each other. So let's hope we see more good people come in, not just for El Matador but for the rest of the teams. And speaking of the rest of the teams, are there any fixtures here that stand out outside of tonight's matchup? Because we're covering that, of course.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go with the EC Blue versus EC Defiance game. It's aim for both 4 points to move you up in the standings. So that's the game that I'm going to go with.
Yeah, I could definitely say the same as well. And folks, we do apologize for Luis cutting off right there. I think he hit a bad patch during the drive. So if he cut off, excuse me, that's why. But yeah, Luis, I definitely agree. Big points up for grabs for both teams that are near the bottom of the table, and for a chance for them to climb up and get into that playoff contention, because there's still a lot of Rocket League to go, of course. And, with Steel Army facing a tough opponent, Black Army, in all honesty, it's a good time for both EC Blue and Defiance to face each other and potentially come up. With that said, folks, we're now going to dive in to the upcoming match very quickly because both teams are in. We just need to make sure that everyone's good to go and that the match is set up to go.
Yeah, and Matt, just a kind of little administration side stuff. If I do end up lagging, you can always just mute me on OBS or whatnot. If it gets too bad, because like I said, I am going through rural Georgia at the moment. So
hey, all good, Luis. Folks, we're diving into the game right now as the clock ticks down in Manfield. Here we go. The Rebellion versus Timbers Army.
yeah, I'm really looking forward to see who starts out fast here, Matt. That's going to be the real key for this game, I think.
So far, it looks like it is Timbers Army as the Rebellion are sitting back right now. Bowler having to come out of the goal and kick-started to attack on his own. Fakes out Nelly. Short's looking a little bit off right now, but is able to put the ball into the midfield and get a demo on Rydog. Good pass out to Piglet, who's not able to get the shot on target.
Yeah. Man, Nelly's one of these players, Matt. I don't know what you thought of his play this season, but man, he has been tremendous. And oh my God, right on cue, he almost had a tremendous redirect goal. But Nelly, a player that I've really loved watching so far.
Luis, what a perfect timing for you to interject right there as well. Just as Nelly put on that sick shot, if that fell in to the net, I would have been popping off hard. I don't know about you. But so far, the Rebellion have held on, and now they're putting up a couple of good chances of their own. Like this good passing play, which no one has been able to capitalize on, but somehow the Rebellion are able to get away with it.
Yeah, so far, very even game. Both teams coming out with everything they have, and I think this is going to be, man, I'm really liking the start from Timbers Army here. This is a really good confidence booster for them.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, this is the most confident they looked, haven't they?
Yeah, considering the start they had to the season, they're going to really be liking their start here in this game. And so far, I think they've held their own and/or been the better team.
So far, they need to deal with this defensive moment, and that they do. They're able to get the ball out. Now Piglet trying to get something going. Leaves it for Nelly, though. Triple C is able to bring it out to the midfield. Ball's hanging in right there. Rydog tries to get a second touch, successful, but Triple C to Polar. Polar with no boost to follow up, though, but this shot is dropping into the net. Nelly with a nice save to keep it out. Nelly needs to get involved again as Triple C is coming right into that. And so far, both teams have held on defensively, 0-0 still. Until now, because Nelly, the man we've been talking about, Luis, just got a goal for Timbers Army.
This goes down as an own goal, I believe, Maz. But again, very good play by Nelly in his own goal. And the Rocket League gods rewarded him with a goal on the other end.
And as you can see in the chat, Short seems to be complaining about lag. It could be just a hiccup. That's Rocket League Online gaming for you. Tends to be quite laggy no matter which server region you're playing.
Yeah, as Rocket League players, we know a lot about lag, don't we? So, but again, a great start from Timbers Army. Honestly, a lead that they deserve given the quality of play so far. Let's see if the Rebellion can bounce back.
And that they are. Look at the aggression there from Shorts. Polar, though, not able to get a clean touch. Now it's Nelly's turn. Nelly, the man of the moment, tries to center it for Piglet, but he's nowhere near the ball. And now Rydog recycles on the left flank towards the middle. Shorts clears it out to the midfield. Only as far as Nelly, though. And so far, Timbers Army are excellent with their rotations here, keeping up the pressure.
Yeah, right now, Portland Timbers have to like where they're at. I mean, they are playing tremendous Rocket League. I mean, they're all over one of the hottest teams in the league right now. And if you're the Rebellion, you just kind of have to calm down and play the style that we know that they can play and get back in the game.
And so far, Luis, they're just not able to get into their groove. Every single time they try to clear out the ball, there's no one to follow it up, unlike in the past. And then whenever the ball ends up on the opposite end, their players are a bit too deep as well from what I'm seeing. Like right now, both Shorts are Polar, high on boost, but both sitting back. And this invites the pressure, and this invites a second goal for Timbers Army. Nelly cleaning up and putting in a nice finish to the left side of the goal.
Yeah, and folks, this might look like an easy shot. You have an open net with the double commit from the Rebellion, but that is not an easy shot, and he slotted it away in very, very nice form. Again, Nelly, the catalyst for this Portland Timbers team, one of the more underrated players in SGL, and he's putting on a clinic in game 1.
Yeah, one thing I'd like to highlight is whenever Nelly does well, Timbers Army does well. Whenever Nelly plays well, Timbers Army wins. And so far, whenever Timbers Army wins game 1, they win the whole match. So let's see if the Rebellion can react to this. But so far, I think Timbers Army are looking very strong right now.
Yeah, and Maz, so far, this just does not look like the Rebellion team that we've seen these past 3 weeks. Something's definitely wrong here. They're going to be looking for this last minute to kind of bounce back and kind of get back into what we know they can do. And oh my God, what a save on the goal line there. But yeah, Maz, this is not the Rebellion team that we've seen over these past few weeks.
Right? I was just thinking the same thing. Everyone's just sitting back. They're dropping back way too quickly. They're way too static. They're not challenging as much as they used to. They're giving up the midfield, you know, a bit more easily than I thought they would. And it's Timbers Army who have control of this match as we go down to the final 30 seconds. The Rebellion need to get a goal right now, but I think Timbers Army just looks the more likelier side at the moment.
Yeah, and, you know, if you're winning 2-0, and we haven't mentioned Rydog's name at all, that's a really good sign for TA. And I haven't really mentioned, or I don't think we mentioned Rydog a lot, but there's 10 seconds left here. It has to be now, or the Rebellion are going to lose game 1 here.
And that slow dribble attempt did not work. Nelly gets his hat trick. Boom. That's it, folks. Game 1 goes to Timbers Army.
And a deserved hat trick. Nelly, again, the best player on the field by a wide margin already here in game 1. He's been tremendous, Maz, and that's deserved given his overall performance. And Timbers Army, kind of surprisingly, are going to take game 1 in a very, very dominant fashion.
Luis, I don't know how many people expected this, but I'm just really happy to see SGL get this competitive and this strong, where we could see someone like Nelly step up after a bit of a struggle and really show what he's all about. And the Timbers Army look dominant. Not just good, but dominant against one of the most informed teams in SGL.
Yeah, and TA just won a game where one of their players had less than 100 points in a convincing fashion. That is not a good sign if you're the Rebellion. If Piglet, for example, can get going in any sort of statistical categories here, my goodness, does not bode well for the team from Boston.
And on top of that, you know, Timbers Army have 12 shots in total versus the Rebellion, who have 4. And they've had to sit back a whole lot because they have 8 saves versus the Timbers Army's 3. I mean, this is just mind-boggling. No one would have expected a start like this.
It is. I mean, you know, one of the players I'm going to kind of highlight from the Rebellion that I want to see get going in this game too is going to be Shorts. I didn't really see him at all in the field, really, and he's a tremendous player, one of the most improved players in SGL. So I'm going to look for him to be a bounce-back player here for the Rebellion if they want to salvage something from Danver too.
Yeah, indeed. This is the moment, though, for the Rebellion to attempt to bounce back in Forbidden Temple. Here we go. Can the Rebellion get a quick response?
Yeah, it's going to be a quick response, but no, it's saved off the goal line. That would have been the response the Rebellion wanted at the start of the game. But man, they kind of just hit the post there, and it's still 0-0.
Just very unfortunate moment. You'd have thought that Shorts would have been able to put that in, but so far the Rebellion are coming out strong. Shorts trying to get a second touch off of his first one, not able to. Triple C now trying to get a shot. Bowler trying to follow up, misses, but he's lucky that he has Shorts to clean up the mess.
Yeah, and so far you got to really like what you're seeing from the Rebellion, a complete change of pace from game number 1. And yeah, that's something that you want to see, right? You want to see that change of pace that we know that the Rebellion are capable of, and so far that's paying dividends.
Yeah, big time. You're starting to see that confidence come up in Triple C now as he's able to go out and challenge on the left side. And Timbers Army are now sitting back. Uh-oh, whip from Rydog. Bowler, though, has 0 boost. He needs to make something out of nothing right now. Does the most he could right there. This ball has somehow rolled into the net. How?
Again, a 0 boost play, like you mentioned. It seemed like the Timbers Army defenders had a boost. They just kind of just didn't go for it in there, and that's exactly what you want to see if you're the Rebellion. This could be a turning point in the series.
Kind of a fortuitous goal, Luis. I mean, seriously, there has to be a good element of luck there. I think Timbers Army are probably expecting that to just bounce or roll off the backboard and not just go into the net off the ceiling. But if you're the Rebellion, you take whatever you get. And now they could potentially get a second. Popped up by Triple C. Shorts unable to make it. Polar now needs to step up. Shot on target. Bump attempt by Shorts. Piglet, though, gets it out into the midfield.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what's the difference in style of play from Timber's Army from games 1 and 2. There seems to be a dramatic slowdown of their play, and it's really affording the Rebellion to get back into the series, Maz. What do you think it is?
I personally think it's because the Rebellion themselves are starting to step up and play faster. They're challenging the opposition in the midfield more. And Timber's Army, by default, are just starting to retreat so that they don't give up the goals from the middle. But, you know, you have to sometimes take those risks. Sometimes have to step up and challenge. And if you concede, oh well, so be it. That's the game for you.
Yeah, I tend to agree. As we see Polar coming in for the... Oh, gets bumped off the ball here. But again, I think there's a dramatic change in play from both teams here. It seems like they switched sides from game number 1 as we see a flick and a great save there. But again, it seems like both teams are taking turns here in game 1 and 2, putting on an offensive clinic on each other's nets.
Absolutely, and I think part of that is because the second player for Timber's Army goes all the way back to get the boost instead of recycling it from the midfield. That's based on what I saw from Rydog there specifically, but who knows, that may be happening more often. Good for the Rebellion, though, because now they have midfield control, and unlike before where they're just popping the ball up, they're trying to get more shots on target, and they're keeping Timber's Army in check. Now they need to defend their goal at every moment. They can't just expect the ball to go up to the backboard or out wide.
I'm loving a couple of these Rydog dribbles flicks. They haven't really come off the way that he'd liked, but I like that sort of play from Rydog. If Timber's Army is going to want to get back into this game, more Rydog flicks is going to be good for them.
You know what we haven't seen enough of? You haven't seen enough of Polar's individual play. He's been kind of conservative, you know? I think to try and help his team out, help them maintain their presence. But I'd like to see more from Polar. As Triple C goes for a shot out of nowhere. Doesn't get it off, though. But I personally would like to see Polar try something more individual play, more dribbling, more team play as well.
Oh my goodness. How have the Rebellion not scored the second goal here, Maz? They are all over this.
Yeah, absolutely, Luis.
Yeah, they're holding on.
Did cut off again. But I do want to emphasize what you said. They should have had a second right here. Because this 1-0 lead is looking quite dangerous right now. This Timber's Army team can score at any moment with 1 minute to go. They have not looked too bad. They just have been pinned back for a good spell. But whenever they come up, they always look dangerous. As Timber's Army continues their pressure, continues to try and look for a goal, the Rebellion are holding on strong, but not for long. Triple C misjudges, and Rydog gets the equalizer with 37 seconds to go.
Oh my God, Maz, this could be a turning point in confidence. What an unfortunate miss there from the Rebellion and Rydog on the board.
Part of that was because one of the Rebellion players got demoed at the back. Sorry, not demoed at the back, demoed higher up, so Triple C was caught in no man's land. But it doesn't matter because Shorts gets the second goal for the Rebellion with 30 seconds on the clock. And that was all Shorts, folks. Big body, big challenge, big 50 win.
Yeah, I spoke of Shorts earlier, and I'm glad to see him on the board because that's a player that you're going to want to see if you're Rebellion scoring goals.
Yeah, Shorts has been their best goal scorer. He's always been on the scoreboard. And now it's Polar's turn to get involved. We've been asking for this, and Polar has finally delivered.
Yeah, that's the immortal Valorant player right there, Polar. It's an absolute beautiful double tap, and man, the Rebellion came to play in Game 2 as a complete change of pace from Game 1.
Seriously, when they hit adversity, they've been able to bounce back, and now you can see the confidence coming. The demos are out, the 50s are out. Triple C says, I got it, and he's taking charge. It's a completely different Rebellion team all of a sudden.
Yeah, what a Game 2 from the guys from Boston. Completely different gameplay, a completely different pace. And if the Rebellion get going here, I fear, Maz, for Timber's Army.
Well, on the bright side for Timbers Army, at least they get 1 point off of that game 1 win. So it's not all bad. If they could get a second win, I think that will still help them to move up the table, just like Los Verdes earlier in the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, in SGL, guys, the every game win is 1 point in the standing, so every win matters, even if you do lose series. But let's not write them off too quickly. But again, that was a tremendous game from the Rebellion, and that's more like the Rebellion Mavs that we've seen over the past few weeks.
Right? Absolutely. I do want to highlight a couple of messages in chat whilst we wait. Argla saying Nelly equals Evander, referred to his game 1 performance. Honestly, not gonna lie, because in game 2, Nelly kind of stepped off and Rydog started to take over a bit more. Kind of Evander-like. Then again, I don't watch Portland Timbers that much. And then Toad Death saying Little Piggy, referring to Piglet, finding game 2 to be a bit challenging. Well, to be fair, he found game 1 a bit challenging as well, unfortunately for him. But let's see if he can step up in game 3. Neither team has a sub. Well, I lied. The Rebellion does have Pipe Shot Gogan as a sub, but they have no need for him at this time as they stick with the same trio. Here we go in game 3.
This is going to be a very important game, as the winner of this game, I'm going to take to win the series here.
And you know what? I like that way of thinking. But so far, Timbers Army could take the lead, but they just cannot get that shot on target. Oh man, how close were they though? Nelly yet again. And this time, Nelly has to contribute on the other end with a big save. Rydog just this time gets the ball at the back, bringing it up into the midfield. Ball is loose. Piglet tries to take charge with a weird touch. Rydog cuts in to that ball. Triple C now brings it up. Piglet needs to let it go for Nelly, but no, he doesn't. Nelly gets demoed yet again for his troubles. Shorts already has 3 demos in this game. He's looking for those 7 demos. Oh my goodness. Another demo. Oh man, this is going to be a demolition derby, that's for sure, folks.
Yeah, both teams bringing out the physical play, and let's see how that translates on the field so far. Liking the Rebellion start here. This is a great save from Shorts. But yeah, Shorts getting those demos. And yeah, let's see if it pays dividends for the Rebellion.
Yeah, I'm liking not just the demos, but the cuts as well. Both teams are confident enough to just say, okay, if the ball's loose, I got it. And they have enough trust in each other to make it count. And that's how you get better at Rocket League and how you start to play faster. Sometimes you just need to make a call and say, okay, I need to make a cut and I have the ball. Because you cannot leave the ball loose for too long.
Yeah, absolutely. Nelly has a bit of space here. Not much boost. Goes off the backboard there. Yeah, Nelly's been a little bit quiet, Matt, since game 1. We're gonna need him to step up if you're Portland.
Big time, but defensively though, he's still been able to contribute as he's doing a not too bad a job right now. Rydog this time, shadowing Polar. Try to see if we can get the ball off of that. Shorts. Nelly clears it out towards Triple C. Piglet though is at the back. So far the rotations have looked good. Both teams have been able to get the boost that they need. Just need to make sure that they don't drop back too early. So far so good for both sides. Triple C attempted to beat Rydog, but Rydog does a good job yet again.
Yeah, not the best touch there from Polar. It was kind of a center ball there. It could have been a free shot from Timbers Army. But speaking about a free shot for Timbers Army, it's in the wrong net. And the Rebellion, they'll take an own goal for themselves. I believe in game 1, Maz, there was an own goal the other way. And now they've returned the favor.
Right? Oh, man. The more I see that, the more painful it gets. Nelly, he had the right idea, but just such an unfortunate touch. And even more unfortunate given that it had enough power to go to the back of the net. Triple C gets credited by the game for the goal. But in all honesty, that was just all Nelly.
Yeah, sometimes in Rocket League, Maz, not touching the ball is sometimes the better play, and that might have been one there for Nelly. But man, yeah, that's a heartbreaking goal to concede, and it's, you know, those are ones that your mental can be chopped. So if you're Portland, you want to keep the mental high and just kind of go for the next one.
And, you know, the mental is high because Timbers Army created a good opportunity right there with a decent passing play. Although now the disruption's coming in from the Rebellion. Rydog getting demoed. Shorts clearing it out towards Polar. Big 50 win right there. Oh my goodness, Nelly's getting harassed. and Piglet's able to get back on time.
Tremendous save from Piglet there while his teammate is getting absolutely bumped in the net. Tremendous play from Piglet, a player I don't think we've mentioned too much this game, but Polar, just from midfield, launches the ball at net. It just kind of floats in there. What happened there, Maz?
Well, Timber's Army trying to push up, trying to be confident, but Nelly had a bit of a loose touch, and just like in Game 2, the Rebellion are taking shots from the midfield, making sure that Timber's Army remain on their toes. This time, they just weren't ready for it, and they got punished.
Yeah, I'm just really curious here on just what's kind of happened here with Timber's Army. I mean, Game 1 just seemed like a completely different team. I'm struggling to pinpoint exactly what's changed here, but something has obviously changed, and I think the Rebellion are a big credit to that. I think they've really settled down in this series, and yeah, we're seeing that in the play.
Absolutely. They're starting to step up. They're starting to engage in the midfield a lot more. The bumps and demos help too. I think for Timber's Army, they need to bring that physical play back. They need to start engaging higher. You know, just take more chances. Because right now, look at the free pass into the middle. Triple C able to get a free shot as well. Timber's Army, though, are able to see this off. But right now, they're in deep trouble as the Rebellion have control of the ball in the Timber's Army half, and they're just unable to get out at this stage.
Yeah, Shorts has really turned it on for the Rebellion, having some really good individual plays. And speaking of individual plays, Polar, my goodness, yeah, the individual mechanics now are coming out for the Rebellion, and they're feeling it, Maz.
And we can also see those individual mechanics come out for Timber's Army. Unfortunately, when they try and execute, they get bumped away for their trouble, just like Rydog did. And with time running out, the Rebellion are going to take a huge Game 3 win right here, folks. Luis predicted them to win if they won Game 3, and that they did. Are you going to stick with that prediction based off what you saw here, Luis?
Yeah, man, they're on fire right now. A shutout in a Game 3 of a series. I mean, only giving up, I think was it 5 shots, something like that. I mean, they're really locked in right now, and they honestly could have been a lot more in terms of goals in their favor. So yeah, tremendous Game 3 from the Rebellion. This is scary. This is the Rebellion that scares people when they start playing confident. They can beat anybody in this league.
And so far, Luis, your 3-1 prediction for the Rebellion remains strong. I do think this could go into Game 5, though. If Timber's Army can regroup and gain their confidence, they have it in them. They just need to respond to the bumps, to the harassment that their third tends to get. And they need to have someone ready for those midfield shots, either having someone engage and cut early, or just having a permanent third at that stage. What are your thoughts on the Rebellion's strategy from Game 2 onwards?
I honestly just think they're playing faster. I think that's just what it's coming down to. And honestly, if you're Timber's Army, I don't know the adjustments that can be made here. But what would you suggest, Master, for TA here?
I think they need someone to start cutting in the midfield. Just be like, okay, I need to go there and challenge for the ball. But for that to happen, they can't use too much boost. So it's tougher to do. You know, it's easier said than done. But we'll see if they can execute right here. Here we go. Game 4. This could be match point. So this is match point for the Rebellion. And for Timber's Army, they need to win this to go to Champions Field. Who could get that first goal? Who could get that hot start? Who could get the momentum on their side?
This first goal is so important for TA, Maz. If they don't get this first goal here, I do fear for them. And speaking of a first goal, I thought Nelly had it there. It was a semi-open net, Maz. Would you say that was a really good chance for TA?
It was a very good chance for sure. And I think the confidence is just kind of starting to drop because when Nelly tried to go for the second ball off the flank, he whiffed it. Little thing, most people probably won't make much of it, but given what I'm starting to see from Timber's Army, I think they're starting to overextend a bit and try a bit harder. Rydog going for the same ball as Piglet right there. They need to regroup, get the communication going again, and stick to their game.
Yeah, we're seeing some double commits come out. You never want to see that from Timber's Army. If they can kind of shut down those double commits and just kind of play a little bit more organized, they have a chance here. What a great long ball there.
Yeah, I thought Rydog would engage right there. That looked perfect for him, but he chose to back off and go for boost instead. And now the Rebellion are pushing up. Shorts with one touch. Shorts trying to go for a pass into the middle. Elects to go for a challenge, though. Now Nelly's able to bring it out on the right flank with low boost.
And so far, Maz, I'm loving what I'm seeing from Timbers Army, and wow, what a play, what a passing play, what a finish. This is better from Timbers Army. This is exactly what you want to see if you're TA.
What a challenge. What a read from Piglet right there, too. And that is the perfect finish from Rydog all the way out to the far post. Perfect bounce into the net as well. This is exactly how Timbers Army needed to respond. They get the first goal. They have the initiative. How will the Rebellion react? So far, the Rebellion are kind of looking tentative. No second player really going for that. Polar needs to get his boost back as well. He doesn't just in time. Shorts now with 23 or so boost. Elects to go for a challenge, does so. Someone from the Rebellion needs to step up because Timbers Army have control of the ball in the midfield. Shorts is up there. Triple C going for a harassment play. Doesn't get anything out of that. Polar goes for a follow-up to Triple C. Triple C gets the second touch. This ball's loose in the middle. Polar goes for a shot, misses. Shorts trying to follow up, fakes it for Triple C, and the Rebellion get an equalizer just like that.
What a...
Unfortunately, Luis is facing technical difficulties. He's going through a rough patch. Luis, whenever you can hear me, feel free to bounce back in, start speaking again. But that is a great play from the Rebellion. Cut after cut after cut. They were just rotating inside Timbers Army's third. And that spelled trouble for Timbers Army at that moment. But folks, there's still a lot of Rocket League to go in this game 4. Now he brings it out to the left flank. Now Rydog trying to get involved. Gets a touch right there, but to no avail. Shorts looking awkward. Needs to play it out to the flank. Plays it right into Nelly's hand, though. Piglet towards the net. Polar takes it away towards Shorts, but Shorts is not able to get to that. Awkward moment. Triple C to Shorts. Someone needs to clear this out. Polar gets it out with just the slither of boost that he had. And after a rough spell for the Rebellion, they're now going to see if they can take initiative right here. Big win from Piglet. That's not what you want to see if you're Timbers Army. You need to start getting those touches on the ball. Just like that from Rydog. Take a charge. Towards the net. Oh my goodness, that bounce off the far post. Oh, Timbers Army. They had the moment. Now towards Shorts by Polar. Shorts cannot get that shot on target. This is swinging back and forth like a pendulum, folks. Both teams are having their chances. Both teams are not capitalizing on it. Polar towards the far post. Polar gets the lead for the Rebellion with 70 seconds to go. And this comes off of a beautiful pass by Shorts into the midfield to Polar. Rydog was in no man's land. He was not able to react quickly enough to get that save. And with so little time left, Timbers Army are on the hook. They need to get that equalizer real soon because this Rebellion team started to grow in confidence. They're starting to get the demos. They're starting to engage in the bumps. Counter demo to Polar. Rydog trying to play a pass to Nelly to no avail. Nelly tries to cut, see if he can get a touch, and he misses. To Piglet. Uh-oh. Shorts interfering with Piglet. Piglet has nowhere to go now. And Polar gets a big challenge. A lot of time being wasted. Timbers Army, they need to clear this out to the midfield. Have someone in the midfield cut and take over. Oh, this is good for Piglet. To Nelly. Nelly misses. Rydog hanging back, waiting to see what Shorts can do. Gets a nice challenge in the midfield. Now Nelly cuts in. Can he get a second? No, he cannot. Thanks to Polar clearing it off the backboard. Triple C engaging with zero boost. That's fine for them. Rydog towards the middle. 10 seconds to go, folks. Get Timbers Army, get that equalizer. Triple C to the midfield to Nelly. Polar towards the opposite end. 1 second to go. Someone needs to put the ball down for the Rebellion, and it is Triple C. Game, set, end match. In what was a thriller, the Rebellion come off 3-1 winners. Oh, man, folks, time to catch your breath right now. How are y'all feeling? I need to get some water right now. That was a thrilling last minute right there. Excuse me. Whew. What a game. What a match. Once again, if you guys are not able to hear Luis, he is being driven to Atlanta, and he stepped up to commentate whilst he's been driving. Unfortunately, he has had to drop off because he has gone through a rough patch. And you know what? That's fine. The majority of the commentary work that needs to be done is done. We just have the interviews left, and then we'll wrap up the stream very soon, folks. So whilst we wait for interviews, I am gonna check the predictions and award the winner their channel points. Not that it really matters in this case, because the only winner that was predicted was the Rebellion, so the channel points just get returned back to those users. Triple C coming in saying GG, guys. I'll say GG to you guys as well. You guys had a setback in game 1. Then you bounced back and looked convincing as ever. Well done to you all. And to Timbers Army, they probably had their best performance since week 1 against Black Army. So a point is not bad. They could have had 2, but you know what? They should be going out with their heads held high. That was not a bad performance, and it's a good sign for them. Excuse me, for the rest of the season. Especially when there are more games coming, you know, and everyone's starting to get better. Points can get chipped away. Excuse me. Bear with me for a minute, folks, as I get the interview set up. Oh man, for those of you who predicted 3-1 to the Rebellion, I think that was Luis. Well done, you got your original prediction right. And I was going to say, if Timbers Army win game 1, they can win the whole thing. Unfortunately, we're talking about the Rebellion here. They are a very good side, and they showed it yet again. And we are going to hear the thoughts of one of the Rebellion players coming in very soon, folks, so don't go away. So we have the interview ready to go, and right on cue, Luis comes back. Luis, hopefully you didn't miss too much as you lagged out. How you doing? What do you think of the result right here?
Wait, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, Luis.
Yeah, I missed all of game 4. We are in bumfuck Georgia, so I do apologize. But yeah, 3-1 to the Rebellion. Kind of my prediction. I assume they got it rolling there in game 4.
Oh, they absolutely did, but Timbers Army were also very close. And, you know, we'll hear the thoughts of one of the Rebellion players coming in. Because welcome into the commentary booth, Polar! Polar, how you doing, dude?
Yo! What up?
Polar, you know, is a guy who you may have heard already because he has commentated a game or 2 for us, if I remember correctly. But Polar, this time, you're the one getting interviewed right here. Tell us your thoughts on that series. You know, game 1 looked kind of rough, but y'all bounced back. And then game 4 looked kind of shaky as well. So, how did it feel playing Timbers Army throughout?
Overall, they're a pretty good team. They're solid throughout. Our first game, we changed some things from previous games that just did not work out at all, and we got punished really hard for it. They're a very aggressive team. I was dead a lot, but I enjoyed playing against them.
Yeah, and do you mind talking about some of the adjustments that your team made along the way? Or do you want to keep that to yourself?
I can share. I was playing a lot more aggressive in the first game and throughout some of the games, but I think my strongest position is that backline anchor for the team. And once I switched over there, we started playing a lot better, and our formation really started to mold.
Absolutely, and it mattered because you guys took control of that midfield. And speaking of the midfield, I was noticing a lot more midfield shots as well from your team. Was that something that was intended, or just a consequence of you guys trying to play more aggressively?
I don't think it wasn't talked about, but we definitely had the intention of putting more pressure on their back line, trying to test their goalie, see what they could save. And so there was. It wasn't talked about, but it just ended up happening that way.
Yo, Polar, can you hear me?
I can. Hi, Lewis.
I'm- What's up, man? Hey, listen, you guys won 4 games in a row. How y'all feeling, man? Y'all are cooking.
We feel good. We feel great. We're buzzing. I think we want to be a team that's in contention for #1. I think we have some work to do. I think there's some good teams in the league, but we want to see if we can compete with them and see if we can run for that #1 spot.
Hell yeah, man. Love to hear it.
Unfortunately, Luis, you have cut off, so I hope you don't mind. I'm just going to interject right here. I will say this, after that rough start, you guys do have 4 wins in a row. But given that this week is a roster update window, teams might be looking to strengthen. So does the Rebellion have anyone lined up for their roster to strengthen their team?
We reached out to Squishy Muffins, but unfortunately he's kind of busy. So that I do not know at the moment, but it's possible. You never know.
Absolutely. I think that might be a question for Triple C to answer, who is in the chat. So Triple C, feel free to indulge us on that if you're willing to do so. But as of now, it's getting late. I don't want to keep you guys up for too long. So Polar, the floor is yours. If you want to talk about anything, if you want to shout out anyone, go ahead. The floor is yours.
Not much to say, but not too bad for a Valorant player, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, okay, now that you bring it up, that individual goal you got from the midfield, where you popped it up, and then you got it a touch off the backboard, that was sick. Like, the card control you had was incredible, and Luis made a reference to you being an immortal in Valorant as well. So, I mean, did your team pop off when they saw that, or were they thinking, oh, that's typical Polar, we know what he's about?
There was some glazing happening. Minor amounts of glazing.
Not surprised. I mean, you are one of the better players, even if you aren't necessarily showing it every single time. I think everyone needs to respect you, and likewise, I'd like to say that about Nelly and Rydog as well. I don't know if you guys were respecting them, having seen what they were about in Game 1. How much of an adjustment did you have to make to them?
They definitely surprised us. I didn't expect them to be that much or that skilled. So we definitely had to adjust for them and, get some demos in on them. We were targeted just a little bit.
Oh, and you guys were getting those demos and bumps in as well. Like, that was super effective from your end. And,
GG's to Timbers Army. Thank you guys so much for hosting and casting and doing all this. We really appreciate it. It's always a great time. Thank you.
Hey, appreciate your time, Polar. We'll let you go now. Have a good night, dude.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
Folks, that was Polar. And we're not going to be done with the stream just yet. We do have a second interview lined up with someone from Timbers Army. But before we go there, I do want to address something that Triple C said in the chat. So if you remember earlier, I asked if the Rebellion had anyone lined up to join their team as part of this roster update window this week. And he said, no, we have our all-stars. I love the confidence there, Triple C. I love to see that. And I think you guys do have a consistent core as well that keeps turning up and playing. So I think you guys should be good anyways. If we're silent right now, folks, it's because Luis is hitting a rough patch in his drive. And I'm trying to set up for the second interview. So just bear with me for a sec as I get that set up and ready to go. Now, I will say this, despite the result for Timbers Army, I don't think they look bad at all. I think they should feel good about how they performed because it's a good sign for where they are right now. Like they're not struggling as much as they used to earlier in the season. And I think they'll be fine for making that 6th spot at the very least, if not better. Timbers Army do tend to grow into the season, and I would not be surprised if they become one of the better sides as we start to enter the playoffs. And we do have that interview lined up for you. So, welcome into the commentary booth, Rydog. Rydog, tough loss given how you guys started game one, but how do you feel about the result overall?
Yeah, we played okay. I think better than weeks past for sure, but yeah, that game one felt really good, and we just thought we could keep that going. And I'm gonna take a step back here. That's a fun team to play. They're just a super fun team to play, and maybe it didn't look like that over the course of like the latter 3 games of the series, but I mean, if we play best of 7, best of 9, best of 11, like I feel like we have a chance of like going the distance. Also too, just the ping is just terrible, just because that's the way the season works. We got to play on East. I told the guys right after the game 4, I was like, I think we win that on West. There was just too much rubber banding and all that stuff going on, which is just just the way it is. We tried to adjust for it. I tried to like, hey, let's hang back a little bit. Like if a guy goes in for a 50, like just chill, because you don't know where the ball's actually gonna go. Just because, like I said, the rubber banding and the ball kind of teleporting everywhere. But yeah, it's an unfortunate result. I think we have them on West, but like I said, they're a damn fun team to play, and I hope we can see them again, because like I said, it's a fun match.
Oh, and I think you guys will meet them because you guys are getting better, and I think you guys will likely make the playoffs based off my own personal observations and opinions. Now, I do want to highlight this thing you said about them, that they're a fun team to play. What makes them different to the other SGL teams that you played so far?
I don't know. I feel like this might be a crap answer, because I don't know if Luis is here. I know he's been like in and out, but to me, I know Polar had a sick double tap, and I forget who else had a highlight reel play. Actually, I think it was Polar again, like off the ceiling. I feel like they just don't have like a carry on their team, and like no disrespect to them, but like all 3 are like super solid, and I'd rather like play teams like that than just get like double, triple flip reset pogoed off the backboard from like Caesar or like Luis or something from like EM and stuff. I just don't find that fun, just because it's like, okay, yeah, they're just flaunting their status on me, and I'm not as good as I used to be. So yeah, I think just like those things of knowing that like, hey, like we can actually be in this game, and in this series at like all times, and just like, like I said, no disrespect to them, but they don't have that like pop off like potential that like a Luis has, or like a Gojo has, or like something like that. But that's what just like makes them so fun to play, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I mean, their team play is probably one of the best in SGL this season, if not the best. And that makes them more fun team to play against, because you have more dynamics to deal with. Makes them more tactical battle too, based off of what I was seeing as that match was developing. Now, I want to highlight something that Triple C said in chat, Rydog. He said, 3-1 doesn't give the credit with how good those guys were. They had us nervous for a little there. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, yeah, I appreciate the love, Triple C. Yeah, it feels like this whole season, like one of us has just had an off day, like every single time. And that's obviously not good, because I know you guys know how good we can be, and I feel like just last season we were just always clicking. Like we were always maybe like super lucky of all of us were playing to where we were supposed to. And so we just haven't found that stride, for a whole series. Like you saw it in game 1. We were flying in game 1. But we just like gotta like keep that going through the whole series. And I think at least for this series, part of that has to do with the adjustments that Polar was saying in the interview before too, that they made. Like that's just good coaching and good adjustments. But like I think our level also dropped a little bit as well. So I think it's like a two-way street. So yeah, we just haven't had the pop off kind of potential that you've seen. I think a lot of that has to do with just our schedules, and I know I've said it before on a broadcast, like we just haven't been playing as much as we probably should. I haven't been on the game like a ton either, just because I've been traveling, and I still haven't been home. I left 2 Saturdays ago, and I still haven't been back on my main setup. I'm still on my gaming rig. I'm visiting a buddy in a little bit south of Portland because for work stuff. And so it's just like maybe that's part of it. Like I said, it's just been like a lot of different things going on that we just haven't had like the perfect weekend or the perfect like match. And yeah, no excuses. Like we got to figure it out. But at the same time, it's kind of upsetting as someone who's on the team, but also I'm sure for you guys in a way of just like you guys know what we can do and we just haven't been able to show it.
No, and it's fine to acknowledge that because you guys have the potential to be a very good side. But, you know, sorry, excuse me. This was the case last season as well, no? Like, you guys started off kind of slow, and then you grew into it as the season progressed. And then you went into the Cup, and you guys were starting off hot right there. Do you foresee this season progressing in a similar way?
I hope so. I hope when our things kind of calm down a little bit that we can kind of get back to the groove of playing a lot more and all that sort of stuff. Like I said, our scheduling has just been terrible. Like, you know, Nelly and I will be on and play, but then, you know, Piglet's got something, or, you know, Nelly and Piglet will be on and I have got something. Like it's never us three. There's always something going on, but I hope so. Like, and I am 100% confident that if we can get games in, you know, throughout the weeks, and, you know, if our schedules align and everything, that we like can beat any team. I think if we have that chemistry going and like that play style and just that constant like just playing, I think we can beat any team in the league. But we just haven't had that, and, you know, unfortunately our record shows that we, you know, I think we have 2 wins, right? Maybe, yeah, 2 wins against the Seattle teams. So it's unfortunate that's kind of the way it's going this season so far. But, you know, obviously real life, that's just kind of how it is sometimes.
I get it, and it's all good. Now, to follow up on that, Rydog, you know, we've talked about the roster update window quite a bit, and you would have heard it from past interviews as well. So I'm going to cut to the chase. Have you guys actually looked to bring in new players to help with those scheduling concerns and, you know, add some more depth to your team?
Yeah, we've I've gotten in contact with a few people. I'm trying to see what you know their commitment level is and everything. Because and you know, obviously it depends on skill too, and just, you know, because there's a balance, right? Like I want people to, you know, hang out in our Discord. I want people to, you know, if we can get more people, I'd love to have a second team. I know I tried to do that in the off season, just didn't end up working out. But at the same time, I want someone that's like pretty committed, and I feel like because us three, barring our you know real life schedules, are committed still. Even Greg too, who you didn't see tonight. He's committed as well. Man says I always check Discord and he's always on the game, which is crazy. So I want to bring somebody in that's gonna match that or exceed that. And so that's kind of been the tough thing too of you know, can I add somebody to our roster that's gonna make our roster better, who's committed, versus, hey, like, let's just get this guy on the server, let's, you know, get them, you know, going with me and just, you know, playing and just having a good time, and then when the time comes for next season, we can get them onto an actual team and get them going. So it's been that part of it's been difficult a little bit, but you know, it's baby steps, as I say.
Yep, I get you on the commitment part too, because it's weird to say because this isn't really a competitive, like, in the sense of there's no prize winnings, there are no prizes. This isn't like an esports community like, say, United Rogue or MLE or, you know, other such communities. You know, this is more of a for fun league, but I do understand the commitment part, because at the end of the day, you need 3 players to play, and if 3 players are not around, then everyone's missing out on, you know, playing a match in SGL. So I understand where you're coming from, but you know, with that said, hopefully you guys find a couple more players potentially, and hopefully they're able to join in and get involved and have fun with the rest. Now, looking ahead into your season, you know, the next couple of matches are going to be kind of interesting for you guys, because you're facing Steel Army, who are kind of like the gatekeeper of SGL, even despite their struggles. And then you have Emerald City RC in week 8, followed by KC Cauldron in week 9. So you're entering a bit of a rough spell in a bit. How are you guys going to prepare for that, given your situations and circumstances? Okay, I guess Rydog isn't able to respond to that. That's all good. Not sure he wants to respond, or if he's just unable to respond. Maybe his mic's muted. Oh, probably.
Oh, there we go. I was muted. Ha, sorry about that.
No, you're good. Technical difficulties happens. It's fine. If you want to respond to that, go ahead.
Yeah. I was saying, we just go 1 week at a time. So we're gonna look at Steel Army. And shout out Debit. I don't know if he's still in chat. Counting Gang. But yeah, they are the gatekeepers. The Steel Army's a weird team because they're like us in a way where they have like the pop-off potential. And yeah, I feel like, yeah, they just haven't shown it as much as, you know, maybe we're used to seeing, just like I said, just kind of like us. And I think it's easy to circle that ECRC date, right? To, you know, it's Portland, Seattle. You know, we're on the verge of, you know, I don't think we've actually beat ECRC yet, and like going for the sweep, the triple Seattle sweep would be crazy. But like I said, it's easy to do that, but like I don't want to focus on them. I'll focus on them in 2 weeks when we get by Steel Army first. So maybe specific preparations for that. I'll be back on my home setup, so that'll be nice to get that back. But also we just got to play on East because I think we're on East servers for that match as well, which sucks, but you know, it is what it is with the format. So I think just practicing on East, like getting used to those things, and like the teleporting and the rubber banding to see, like, you know, what's going on, how can I like overplay something to get it more in my favor, like those sorts of things. And I think that just comes with playing on East. And so it's funny, I tried to warm us up on East, and we tried to do that, so just for this match, but of course like just getting kind of the, you know, the off the game day, you know, playing on East to get used to everything. So we'll handle Steel Army, or we'll try and handle Steel Army next week. We'll get ready for them, and then after that we'll look for that Seattle match. And then KC, I honestly haven't. I know they're near the top, but I haven't really seen or heard too much from them. I'm sure they're just doing KC things, but like I said, that'll be a thought after the Seattle match. So we'll just go 1 week at a time.
Well, I mean, I hate to break it to you, Rydog, but KC are below you guys. They're in 8th place at this point.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, they've been struggling so far this season. So, you know, you have to deal with a sleeping beast, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, and maybe that's like I said, and maybe it's very similar to us, of like they have the pop-off potential, we know how good they are, and they just, you know, other teams have improved so much and know how to play KC, and maybe KC hasn't been themselves, just kind of like we haven't been ourselves. So a combination of those things, man. But I know we've said it, Maz, over the course of time. I'm sure you've said it a ton of times on this broadcast and previous broadcasts, like the levels improved so much that there's really not a team where you can be like, yep, that's a cakewalk, like we'll just 3-0 them and call it good. Like not even like Defiance, like Blue, like KC now, like whoever's at the bottom, like there's you have to go in and you need to play well if you want to win. Like, and like I said, unfortunately we just haven't been able to connect the dots and do that. But you have to play to your A standard every single time, or you'll lose. That's just, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Now, Rydog, I don't want to hold you back for too long because it is getting late. So if you have any thoughts you want to give out, any shout outs, the floor is yours.
Yeah, once again, shout out to Rebellion. Like I said, super fun team to play. I hope we see them again. Like I said, because that's just a good series. Shout out you guys for putting on. Appreciate it as always. I miss being in the booth. Like I said, when I get home next week, I'll be back in the booth. And if there's any games later in the week, I might be able to swing one of those. So hopefully that's the case. But definitely more next week. But yeah, I know my mom stayed up and watched. I don't know if she's still here, but shout out Mama Rydog. Shout out Accounting Gang. Debit, I see you in chat, brother. I didn't mean it, I swear. It's gonna be a good match next week. And yeah, hope everybody has a great night. I don't know if Luis is still here, but if he is, yeah, stay safe, brother man, and hope everything's good. And yeah, have a good night, everybody.
Great words there, Rydog. Really appreciate your time here. listen, don't be disheartened by that loss. You guys still got 1 point, and we'll see what that looks like when we check the league table in a bit. So you guys are in a decent position. But for now, have a good night. We'll catch you next time, Rydog.
Yeah, have a good night, guys. Thank you.
So, folks, we are going to jump into the league table real quick just to see what's going on at this moment in time. As we shift over to the league table, we do see that with that win, the Rebellion jump up to third place, 4 points behind the Locals, which is basically one match win, and 1 point behind El Matador. Very, very close matchup right there, folks. And then you have Black Army 1 point behind them, and then ECRC 4 points behind them, and Timbers Army are still there with just 12 points. You know, they're still in it for a higher placement, and with that 1 game win, you know, they're starting to open up a gap over Los Verdes, who have a very tough matchup against Emerald City RC coming up, and KC Cauldron, who I'm trying to check if they have a bye week this week or if they're playing. They do have a bye week, yeah. So, you know, for Timbers Army, that 1 game win was big. So it means they could potentially open up a gap and start to seal that 6th place spot. Folks, we're going to wrap up in a little bit, but I just want to highlight something that Rydog mentioned, and that's the improvement in the level of gameplay. Keep in mind, folks, we are not an esports community. We are not a community like United Rogue, RLPC, MLE, and so on, which consists of dedicated Rocket League players, you know, dedicated to playing the game. We are all soccer supporters. We are all involved in our supporters groups, and we use SGL as a means of showcasing not just our supporters groups, not just, you know, for bragging rights for our groups, but also to showcase soccer supporter culture. And I hope you guys are getting that along with the great gameplay. And I also see the great gameplay as a way for people to be more curious about our supporters culture. And it's just amazing to see how far we've come, because back in the day, seasons 1, 2, and 3, we didn't have as many of them. Like, half the people playing were, you know, more dedicated to the game than to what we're all about, which is supporting our team in the stands, or making great tifos, or playing instruments in a band, you know? So it's really good to see how far the level of gameplay has come. You know, a lot of people playing back in the day, like Debit and Bear Blitz, they used to be gold, you know, they used to be plat, and now they're coming up to champ, potentially grand champ if they commit enough time. So, you know, that's one great aspect of SGL. And the other great aspect is everyone gets to keep up with each other, gets to, you know, make themselves feel like they belong in the group. And you see that, you know, best encapsulated by the Locals, who are at the top of the table. You know, they have not had a team to support this year in the men's soccer side ever since the San Diego Loyal went away. But they've been able to keep up via the San Diego Wave, and they've been able to keep up with SGL. You know, like, this is their way of sticking together. And next year, you know, with San Diego FC coming up, they'll be able to bounce back, rejuvenate their support, and get together again. And it's just great to see how we're growing this culture as a whole. But I've ranted long enough about that, folks. It's late. We all need to go. Have a good night, and we will catch you all next time. Peace.